So I wouldn't say that it's reluctant. It's just that there's been this history of lack of trust between the communities, the tribal communities, and the federal government. And so that also translates to institutions. And so it's not their reluctance, it's just that lack of trust. Are they going to do the right thing for me? Or am I going to be harmed in any way if I trust these people that are going to be caring for me? And we know that a lot of the people who care for us aren't the people that come from our community. And so it's the pride that we carry is in our language, in our relationships with our people in our community, in our ceremonies, and how we conduct ourselves every day. Our pride is in our philosophy of Minobima Diziwin and how we practice those behaviors around living that good life within our community. That's where the pride comes in for the way I was taught. Like I said, I don't know if it's really pride, it's more of a lack of trust. Again, going back to that history between our tribal people and our leaders in our communities and the federal government, which then translates to different institutions, Western institutions, that it's really hard to trust someone who says they're going to care for you when, one, you may not know what that care involves. You may never have experienced that kind of care from someone else other than the providers who come into your community, and that there's always that language barrier yet too, with the Western medicine and the understanding of what the care is going to look like and sound like for our people in the community when they come into those hospital institutions. Again, I think there definitely has to be that trust and that show of care between the giver and the recipient in order for that person to accept the gift, and they don't want to make it appear as if they are giving the gift because the person is down and out and they need the gift, but that it's being given because they truly care about the person who they're giving the gift to and showing respect and kindness and care. The questions themselves shouldn't be blunt. They shouldn't be assuming. They should be asked in a way that's going to support the thinking or the beliefs of the person that they're caring for. And again, that goes back to having a good understanding of the relationship between the provider and the patient. It's important to let people know to ask for forgiveness if they say something that could be potentially offensive, that it's not intentional, and for them to let them know, that it's okay to, one, not answer the question, or two, tell me that's an offensive question, and then to be receptive to it and not be offended. So I think, again, not making an assumption that they don't know, but asking them, what can you do to support them, to provide what they may need to foster a good, healthy parent-child relationship. I think it's important that, one, that you know who those resources are in the community that can provide that knowledge or that information for the family's needs, and again, going back to asking, if they would be interested in ABC or XYZ. So I think that Native pride is really having a good understanding of who you are as an Anishinaabe Ikwe. And that starts from the time you are born, that you learn to know and understand, one, your relationships, and two, your connection to those relationships. And it's not just human relationships, it's the relationships with everything that you're taught during the time that you're growing up, through the seasons, through the foods, through the lakes and the rivers, the plants and the animals, and how we take those things and become adults, and then being able to have those opportunities to practice those and really feel embedded in the language and the culture and the history of who you are as a tribal person. I think that's really where the pride comes, because we know that there was a time in our history where our children were taken from our communities and put into boarding schools, and the federal government's intention was to disconnect our children from their relatives so that they didn't have that relationship or didn't know the people who were to provide them with that support and that guidance in their growth and development. And so being able to maintain your relationships with your relatives from the time you're born until you're an adult, I think that's where that pride is embedded in all of that.